what's going on with Bitcoin? It's wild swings. It's a roller coaster ride. Now, the most popular cryptocurrency has had I would say bonkers rally this year already, record levels. It hit a market capitalization of $1 trillion last week on Friday, in fact. And look at the range today, moving from $58,000 to $47,000 and everywhere in between. One of the reasons being that Elon Musk seems to think now that Bitcoin prices are high. That's what he said in a tweet. So in this highly speculative asset class, which moves for bizarre reasons and most very serious commentators don't seem to like, there are many who are making money and those on the sidelines thinking that, hey, should we jump in? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Should you jump in? Should you look at other cryptocurrencies rather than Bitcoin? Should you just keep away considering that India is likely to bring its own digital currency and really stop trade in all of these cryptocurrencies? So in the middle of all of that regulatory gray area, what do you do? So Nischal Shetty, founder and CEO of WazirX, and Avinash Shekhar, COO of ZebPay, are joining us on the show today to speak about this. Thank you so much to the both of you for joining us. Mr. Shetty, let me begin with your take on what's going on in Bitcoin. I mean, you're going to have nerves of steel and a stomach of cast iron if you're a serious investor in Bitcoin, looking at the roller coaster ride it's on.
Yeah. Look, if you look at the short term, the fluctuations are going to scare anyone. But if you look at the last 10 years history of Bitcoin, in a 3-year period, people have always made money, and that's the thesis that a lot of investors who are jumping into Bitcoin are going with. That no matter what short term fluctuations you see, if you were to hold it for a 3-year period, history shows that it gives you better returns. So that's something that sort of keeps you on the I would say markets of cryptocurrencies with a long-term vision. Short-term, like you said, there's a large wild fluctuation, and the reason for that is because it's still a relatively small market if you look at it in comparison to the other global gold markets or the equity markets. And that's the reason why when Elon Musk tweets, a new set of large number of investors enter the ecosystem, and that's when you see the prices fluctuate so widely.
No, but that's fine. You're saying long term and look over a period of 3 years. My question is that it's how can you look over a period of 3 years? It's been dormant for a significant part of those 3 years. This is a follow-up question to Nischal Shetty. It's been dormant for a significant part of 3 years and then suddenly sprung up. And it's a commodity, if I can call it that, whose rates move sometimes because of what one man has tweeted.
So this is what I'm saying. It's because these are early markets. If you look at the history of gold, for example, in the initial years of when the gold markets were being formed, these kind of fluctuations were sort of the normal. And today, because gold is sort of like a $11-12 trillion market, you cannot just have large fluctuations in that. But Bitcoin is still like a relatively small market with about $1 trillion in the market cap right now. So when large personalities and influencers tweet about it, they bring in millions of new people. And now if someone tweets about gold, that's not news. But if someone tweets about Bitcoin, that attracts a large number of new people into Bitcoin, which drives the prices up. Now talking about the last 3 years being dormant, I think this is one of the other misconceptions because Bitcoin in the last 12 to 18 months has always had these sort of mini bull runs where the prices go up by 20-30%, but it's being noticed now because of the last 12 months of consistent upward movement. But otherwise, every few months you'll always see some uptick in Bitcoin.
Yeah, Avinash, I want to get your views in. Now, Janet Yellen this evening, just a short while ago, has, I think, become the latest government official to not be very sure about Bitcoin. She has said that Bitcoin is a highly speculative asset. Many issues need to be studied, like consumer protection, possibility of money laundering needs to be looked at. How do you defend Bitcoin at a time like this, Avinash?
So, so two, three parts. One, obviously, on the I think Nischal has covered on the price part, price volatility part. On the regulation side, I think any new industry, if you look at the history, when the new industry, new technology comes, the regulation comes much later than that. And there are many examples to that. So we are at a stage where the new technology is coming up. Obviously, India is talking about regulations. Uh, so it's a good thing that people are talking about regulation, bringing it mainstream, and so that there is larger adaptability, basically.
Okay. Now, what would you say, Avinash, to those who are sitting on the sidelines right now and are thinking that, hey, I could have made money in this? Should they look at other cryptocurrencies? Should they wait, before things get a little clearer and wait for things to get a little clearer, especially in the Indian context?
So, especially to the new people, I think what I recommend is that the first investment they need to do is to invest in education. I mean, there is lots of stuff which is happening on crypto side, lots of new development which is happening. So, I think the first investment should be on the education. Educate yourself what it is. Then only you will get the conviction to stay invested. That's one. Second is that you don't need to obviously buy one Bitcoin. You can start investing at 100 rupees, 300, 500 rupees, and that way you will at least start experimenting with crypto. uh, in terms of whether to buy Bitcoin or any other crypto, I'll say I think if you're a new investor, start with Bitcoin and Ether. Where I said that the others hundreds and thousands of crypto, they have different specification, different utility, and you need to really study about them to understand them. So start with, I think, Bitcoin, Ether. Start understanding them. Put little bit of money there for experiment, and then slowly build up your portfolio. That's, I think, what I will recommend at least.
Here, of course, the disclaimer being that both of you have been proponents of cryptocurrency. So you would see perhaps merit in investing in cryptocurrency. Anyone watching this needs to make their own decision, speak to their financial advisor. We're just trying to get a lay of the land from the two people we're talking today. So Nischal, having said that, for people who are watching this and wondering what to make of it, isn't there a real concern that a regulatory turn tomorrow could just end the story for them?
Look, we are definitely in an unregulated market, but I believe that laws are made not in isolation. So if you look at the global regulatory landscape, US, UK, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, a lot of the countries around the world are looking into how to regulate cryptocurrencies, because every country out there knows that the ones that do not regulate it or ban it will miss out, because the other countries are not going to wait for them to come and join the race. Now every country is trying to foster a culture of innovation and pushing for the crypto ecosystem in their respective countries. So I don't believe that India is going to go in a negative direction when everyone is going in the other way. And India, I believe, will regulate this over time. Of course, the path to regulation is not a straightforward path. So we might hear of these negative aspects, but I think the government's going to work with the industry to positively regulate this sector. That's my belief.
That's your hope, I would say, but let's see how it pans out. So far, it's looking very, very, I would say, uncertain would be the right term for where it's going with Bitcoin in India at least, but there is no denying that it's been on a tearaway streak. And that has people wondering whether they've missed jumping onto that bandwagon. Whatever decision you take one after educating yourself and speaking to your financial advisors. Thank you so much to the both of you for joining us on the show this evening.